Hi guys, and once again welcome back to the Fermented World channel. Today we are doing something a bit random just because I can. I'm going to brew a wine using red grape juice from concentrate, store-bought stuff. Ingredients are 100% grape juice from concentrate. I wasn't going to do this one just yet, but my lad asked if he could open this and have some, so he did, and he didn't finish it. So I bought some more, and we're going to turn it into a wine so this doesn't get wasted. I'm not really a wine drinker per se, but I like brewing, and I like to show what you can do in your kitchen. This is the station I brew all of my stuff at. I brew beers, which we've got in here. I've got 3 meads going there. I've done ciders, I've done a perry, and those ones, the cider and the perry were from store-bought juicers, and they turned out all right. Oh, a pear cider as well. Now the pear cider was actually nicer than the perry. The perry didn't turn out all that well. But yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to put some yeast nutrients into the jobber here, and what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to put it in through this funnel, and then as we add the juice it will get rid of all the other jazz. Now I googled whether you should use yeast nutrients in wine, and a lot of people have recommended it, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use yeast nutrients in wine. Normally use them in the mead because honey doesn't have any nutrients itself. We're using Mangrove Jack's premium wine yeast, which is R56 active dry yeast blend with vitamins and minerals. Says that it's good for red wines, which is why I selected it. So let's put that to the side for now, and I can imagine this being a really quick video, because all we're literally going to do is add this grape juice, take a hydrometer reading, calculate roughly what we stand to get, because you know wines go dry, don't they? So you're going to let it ferment all the way out to dryness. See, there's only about half of that one left, and 4.5 litres is actually the perfect amount for these fermenters. So we're just going to get these in there. We'll take a hydrometer reading. We'll see. I'm trying not to flipping splash it, but it looks like it really wants to. We will see what the potential ABV is without any additions, and if we feel like we need a little bit extra, we'll add some brewing sugar, which is perfectly fine. You know, if you want to boost it, ideally I'd like it to be about 12%. I'm not really a fan of wine, to be honest, so like I say, I'm just brewing it because I can and show you that you can as well. It's not as glamorous as going to the shop and buying a, I don't know, flipping £20 bottle of red. So for example, this cost me, the juice cost me £6. The yeast cost me about £3. I'm going to put a couple of raisins in for tannins, just to give it that extra dimension. But other than that, you've got a massive tub of yeast nutrients. That costs next to nothing for 1 scoop. Yeah, it's one of them really. It's just cheap and cheerful. And if it tastes nice, it tastes nice. If it doesn't, so what? You know, you can always build on it. You could actually use proper grape juice instead of stuff from concentrate, because I think when they concentrate it, it does give it a certain taste. Like I've had apple juice before that was not from concentrate, and it was bloody gorgeous, but it costs more. Not sure why. So got 1 more of these to go in. I mean, this smells nice. This actually tastes nice to drink as well, just as a juice. which is why I bought it one time, just to try it. And then I thought, bloody hell, I can make a wine out of that. Lots of people are struggling these days, you know, they're cutting down this, cutting down that. Well, alcohol's not one that you need to cut down on, to be fair. Well, everyone should, obviously, because it's bad for you in massive amounts, but at the same time, you should contemplate brewing your own. See, I brew my own beer. I can get a beer costing about £1.30, and it just tastes mega, you know, awesome. Mead, I can make a bottle of that for about £3. So there we go. We've got approximately 4.5 litres. We're going to add some raisins, as I said, for some tannins. Now I've got some brown sugar that I could add if we do decide to have any, but I'm not sure if brown sugar will do any good for it. So about half a palm of raisins. That's all up, just that much. And it goes. Obviously my palm might be bigger than yours, it might be smaller, but you calculate accordingly. In there you go. And that can go back in there. Brewing sugar is over there if we do need it. So we need to make sure that our yeast nutrients are mixed in. They probably are. And we also need to oxygenate this because the yeast needs oxygen to start with. So we're going to give it some beans. Get as much oxygen in there as possible. Making sure that the yeast nutrients are sufficiently dissolved at the same time. Which they probably did dissolve as they were going in. It's probably oxygenated slightly as it went in as well. But you can never have too much oxygen at the beginning, because once it starts fermenting, like these for instance, these are fermenting now, you have to be very delicate whilst moving around. Even if transferring from one vessel to another, you have to add something called fermentation stoppers and what's it called? Campden tablets, which then kind of sterilizes the area in the liquid, sorry, and it stops it from going bad. So now all there is left to do is to take a hydrometer reading and see whether we're going to add any sugar. A couple of pulls on this. Should tell us how much sugar is actually in there, and judging by how much sugar is in there will depend on whether we add anything to this. So that's at 1.064. So at 64, if that goes dry, that will give us about 7%. No, at 6.4, if it goes dry, it will give us about 9 or 10%. Let me just go calculate that. Okay, so quickly calculated that. That would give us a rough estimate, if it goes dry, of 9.8%, which isn't nearly what we want. We want something a little bit more punchy than that. So we're going to go for a gravity of about 80, which would give us 12.4, I think it said, or around that ballpark. So we're going to add some brewing sugar to this, which is why I should have done this in this jug, and I might still do it in the jug because it's just easier to mix in, which means I need to sterilize the head jug. Yep, I'm going to do that just for ease. Okay, so that's that sanitized. Now we're going to tip this into there as carefully as possible. But we don't mind if we oxygenate, because at this moment in time we're actually helping it by adding oxygen. It's only during the fermentation where you wouldn't be able to tip it out of the vessel like this. You need to slow it down, it's splashing up something chronic. This will just make it easier to add the brewing sugar and make sure that the brewing sugar is all mixed in. We can even keep them raisins in the bottom there, they don't need to come out. So yeah, brewing sugar, dextrose, as it's also known. I wonder if there's one already open. I think there is. So we're going to put it in increments. I'm going to weigh out what we've got. Scales are in there somewhere. In the brewing cupboard of justice. I do need something else to put this in. So I was back. Okay, so we're back. Like I said, we're going to go in increments of 250 grams because we don't want to overdo it. Well, that's 150. We've got some more over here. We've got a very dusty top, which isn't good. So let's brush the dust off and pretend it never happened. And then we'll open the fresh seal. And here we go. It's 250. Or should I do 200 and see where we're at? Yeah. We've got 216 if we round it off. But let's just see what that brings us, because, like I say, I don't want to overdo it. And then there'd be too much and then we had residual sugars left behind. We're only trying to aim for around that 80 mark. So in that goes. We can stir this as it goes in. I'll do it the other way around because I can't stir with another hand for some reason. So that's 200 and, what do we say, 16? I'm just going to mix all that in. Now brewing sugar mixes in really easy, a lot easier than table sugar. Blue, quiet. Crazy dog. So now again we take a hydrometer reading. Let's say for the grin we put in 200 grams of brewing sugar, pardon me, which is just dextrose. I wouldn't use table sugar for brewing with because it gives off flavours. It's not as refined as the brewing sugar. So that's ramped us up to, would you believe it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 78. Should I add a little bit more to get the 80 that I want? No. We're going to say there was 200 grams in there and we've got it up to 78 now, which is a perfect starting gravity. What I will do is make a note of 78 before we get going, otherwise I'll forget and I'll have to go back and sit and watch my own videos, which is a pain in the backside. No one wants to watch themselves chat. Nearly swore then. Chat rubbish. But it's not even rubbish, it's just stuff that I've said and I don't really want to have to go back and flip and do it. So, red wine, we'll call it. And the original gravity OG was 1.078, which is close enough to the mark for me. It won't change much from the, we'll definitely get, well I say we will most probably get a minimum of 12% out of this, which is perfect for me if I'm going to drink it. To be fair, this is one that I'm probably going to give to people that I know, for them to sample it, who are wine drinkers, because it's not really my cup of tea. I like sweet drinks or bitter drinks. I don't like the sharpness that you get from a wine. But they're saying that we do drink Carver and stuff like that over Christmas. What did we have? Prosecco or something like that. Righty-ho. Now, we pitched the yeast. We've added oxygen, we've got yeast nutrients in there, we've added 200 grams of sugar to ramp up the ABV to where we want it to be at. It's always best to do that beforehand, because when you start adding things after, you have to mix it and you don't want to introduce any oxygen to the mix. It's just a no-no. Sometimes you can't help it, but it's really one of those things that once you've closed it off, you want to just leave it to work its magic. Right, someone's at the door, so I'm gonna have to come back to this. I remember from when I brewed a piment, which is a mead using grape juice, you needed something called potassium bicarbonate. So I need about 3.4 grams of this. And what this does is it helps lower the acidity. Because of the grapes, they've got quite a lot of acid going on in them. Don't need that chunk. 4.6. That'll do. We'll go with that. Not the best bag in the world. Not really resealable. But yeah. So it says 3.4 grams. So we're going to put, I've measured 4 out. So let's see if we take that clump away, if it makes any difference. It's on the money. It's actually 3.4 bang on. So we can put that back in there. Yeah, potassium bicarbonate. Lowers the acidity, which the yeast could struggle in. So I do have another funnel somewhere which is clean. I'm just going to literally whip this off, put this bicarbonate in, and then seal it all back up again. Mix it in, of course. That would make sense. Swizzle stick. Because the yeast doesn't like the acidity. So it could cause a problem, stun the yeast. We're going to pitch the yeast, that's what we were doing. Put that down there. We're going to be using a whole pack of yeast because I'm not going to be brewing a red wine again. This whole pack of yeast could do 19 to 25 litres and has an alcohol tolerance of 15. For best results, ferment at 18 to 28 degrees Celsius, which is 64 to 82 Fahrenheit. Now they don't normally put the Fahrenheit on it as well, which is really good, so I'm glad they did. I don't work in Fahrenheit, but it's just other people doing it saves you having to fart around converting it yourself. I'm not going to bore you with what it says. I'll take a picture of the back and just put a picture up so you can read it. It goes blah blah blah, complexity, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. So in goes the yeast. Just like that, and then we mix, making sure that all of the yeast gets moist, wet, and mixed in. Now adding that extra sugar has raised the water level, or the must level if you want to call it by its proper name. So we will have to keep an eye on this one in case it goes absolutely wappo and starts foaming over. I'll have to put a blow off tube on it. I don't expect to have to. What I should have done is, well, obviously no, I shouldn't have done anything because I was just doing it on a wing and a prayer, not actually knowing what I was doing. So the temperature's a bit cool at the moment, so it's going to warm up to the room temperature, which is about 22 in here. That's my brewing temperature. Put the airlock on. The reason why I use these laggy bands is because these airlocks are really old. They just need to be held down, otherwise they pop up. You can see it on that one there and that one there as well. They will just lift up and get contaminants in. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I've never brewed a wine like this before, so I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm going to make some more notes, tidy up this stuff, get it all rinsed off, ready for the next brew, even though we will sterilise it again. Sounds like my freezer's going to take off. Yeah, and we'll label it up, stick a label on so we know what it is, and yeah, we'll be back. Say probably check it in 10 days. 10 days is probably what I'd expect it to be, because for the simple fact that that's normally when everything's gone dry. So yeah, see you in 10 days. Thanks for watching. Ciao.